Hi, my name's Alex Simmons, and I wish other people knew you could crash into kidney failure just like I did.
Hello, I'm Tamara Ruggiero.
And I'm Mike Spigler.
And welcome to the Kidney Collective, a podcast series that gives voice to what it's really like to live with kidney disease. In each episode of this limited series, we'll talk to a member of the kidney community about their experience, including what they wish they had known before their journey began.
Join us for a personal look at what life is like in the Kidney Collective and come away with information and inspiration to help you know how to take charge of your kidney health.
Alex Simmons is an athlete, fitness instructor, girl dad, and kidney transplant recipient. He is the owner of the Crave Focus Grind Gym in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's been in outstanding physical shape his whole life, but he was very unexpectedly diagnosed with kidney failure on February 1st, 2023. He crashed into dialysis like so many of our listeners. Alex is active in spreading awareness about kidney disease, and he has been a great partner to AKF on that. And we're really looking forward to talking to him today about his life and his kidney journey. Welcome, Alex.
Hi, guys. Thanks, Tamara and Mike.
Well, Alex, we're really glad to have you here, and we've been so thankful for the work that you've done to help promote AMKD Awareness Day and honestly, everything that you do on your social channels. I mean, they're very uplifting messages, kind of straight talk messages. I just wondering, I'm so bad at social media myself and taking the time to actually do those things. I probably should do more of it. But it's so hard to find the time and the creativity. Where do you get that inspiration from, and how do you keep doing that with your great kind of social media accounts that you have?
Yeah, I guess growing up playing sports, a lot of coaches always tell you a little life hacks, and they just sort of stick with you, and you start to just generate your own, and just becomes a part of your life. So it's very easy for me to just spread these on a daily basis because everyone needs inspiration or just to hear something in a different perspective. And, that's just my goal, is to spread positivity and maybe make someone look at a situation a different way. And that's about it.
Well, you're doing a great job at it. I think I would be the moon to your earth as far as my social media followers, because I think we could probably fit mine in a small room. So congratulations on building such a great following too.
I appreciate that.
Well, again, Alex, thanks for being with us today. And we've been so looking forward to having this conversation with you. And we thought we could start by just talking a little bit about your life before your kidney disease diagnosis. What was life like before you got the diagnosis?
So life before my diagnosis, I was active my whole life, played sports my whole life. I'm a personal trainer here out in Pittsburgh. So just very active, very moving. When I got diagnosed, everything changed for that. I actually went to the hospital end of January. I actually thought I had kidney stones, just the way I was feeling. So the first thing they did was they took my blood, and my blood pressure was 260 over 150. So I stayed for a couple more tests. About a week later, I left the hospital on dialysis and started the journey that I'm on now.
What did you know about kidney disease before this happened? What did you know about the kidneys in general? I mean, obviously you're into health and fitness, so you probably knew a little bit, but I mean, this is probably a whole new world, I would imagine.
Definitely. Yeah, you said it perfectly, Mike. I knew a little bit. When I got diagnosed, I was already stage 4. So like I said, I got my port in the hospital. I started dialysis in the hospital, then left, and I went to inpatient dialysis the whole time. But I knew nothing about kidneys, we'll say, just based what the average American knows. So when I got diagnosed, my mind was thinking, how do we fix this? What can we do? It didn't register that this can't be fixed. We need to do these steps. So I was just like, what pill do I take? What diet changes so I can just fix this and start the ball rolling? So look, probably halfway through, 6 months probably into dialysis, everything started to make sense. I started to search for more information, led me to you guys, very, very informational with all the material. And so I'm still learning, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that experience of just crashing into kidney failure is so, unfortunately, so common among people. And we hear all the time from people that they just didn't know anything about what dialysis would be like or what was in store for them when they went to the hospital, feeling ill with something that turned out to be kidney failure. What do you wish the average person knew about what it's like to be on dialysis?
what it's like to be on dialysis. So I was on dialysis 3 days a week, 4 hours a session, 6 a.m., Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So for a lot of people that don't know about dialysis, the basic form is, or the basic, what dialysis basically is it takes all your blood out, filters it, and puts it back in your body. So for me, I felt just physically drained. So those 3 days of the week, I'm pretty useless to the world, just energy wise and everything. I didn't actually work those days a lot just because I didn't have the energy. So you're just tired. I like to say for no reason. Really, you got enough sleep, you did all these things, and it just takes everything out of you. In 4 hours sitting in a chair hooked up, you're surrounded by other people that are on dialysis. And for my situation, I was young, fit, in shape. So everyone around me just did not look, healthy. They had other ailments, a lot of the older people. So for me, it was just an eye opener as to how am I sitting in this chair? I'm doing everything right my entire life,
Yeah.
but I have the same result here.
What were you doing for work at the time? Because I think a lot of people don't understand like how challenging that is. I mean, you just made a good point of it, but a lot of people, especially when they, quote unquote, kind of crash into dialysis without a lot of warning,
Yeah.
it's really hard to maintain a job, a 9 to 5 for sure. And we have programs that help patients, with some of the financial challenges that come with that, with our charitable assistance programs. But, what were you doing and how did you try to adapt to that?
Yeah. So fortunate for me, I had my gym at the time. So all my clients were obviously okay with everything, but I could physically come to work on the dialysis days, but my clients would have to set up the workout so I could just navigate. I have a big ball that I would sit on probably throughout the whole session just because me getting up and down with my blood pressure rising and dropping, I just felt like I was going to pass out. So for me, it didn't really change too much work wise. So I was just very thankful for that. But like I said, I can't imagine, that's 12 hours out of your day or 12 hours out of your week, let alone how you feel. So I can't imagine, like you said, people that have a 9 to 5 or a corporate job or something where you have to be there, you can't really take time off.
Well, it's so inspirational to me to think about you going through all that physically and still helping people in their own kind of, exercise journey and fitness journey. It's really impressive.
It kept me going too as well to see my clients working, and so I have to keep fighting too as well.
Alex, so many of our listeners are on dialysis. Many of them are probably watching or listening to this while they're in the chair right now. And for people who are newer to dialysis, I imagine that you had to go through a process of explaining to friends and family what was going on with you and trying to help them understand.
Mm.
What did you say to your friends and family? And did they understand it right away? Did you get the support you were looking for? Or just kind of talk through what that experience was like? Because I think that would resonate with a lot
Yeah.
of folks who are listening.
So a lot of the elders in my life, they understood the whole concept. A lot of kids my age didn't really understand. They're like, so dialysis is a fix. This is it. So you just get a transplant and you're good then, all these things. And it was very hard to try to relay it to them because one, everyone's just looking at me like, you're in shape, you're healthy. I don't understand. I'm like, I don't understand either. But new people starting dialysis would be definitely have a support system, I would say. Don't miss your sessions at all. And bring a blanket because it does get cold, and a book, have something to read. But for me, the treatment was pretty smooth. I met a lot of friends because I had a designated chair. So the same person sitting next to me, same person on my other side. So you got a family there because we're all fighting at the same time. Staff is great. Everyone's great. So, I can't really complain about that situation.
And there's so many patients that end up in your situation that I think the health system just kind of writes off because, okay, well, you're in dialysis, not much to do now. And many don't get a definitive diagnosis as to why and how. Can you talk about your diagnosis journey, what you ended up being diagnosed with and how that came about?
Yeah. So officially, I don't really know my diagnosis, what caused the kidney failure, because my blood pressure was so high the first time I went to the hospital that they couldn't perform a biopsy. So I did genetic testing for APO1, and I do have a G1 and G2 that I'm at a high risk, but officially we can't say, was it my blood pressure? Was it that? So I don't know, but they're leaning towards the blood pressure just because it was so high. So my diagnosis is kind of up in the air still.
Yeah. Well, and we have a program here called the Unknown Causes of Kidney Disease Project,
Yep.
which I know you've contributed to before, which tries to help with that. We have a tool on our website called Know Your Cause that people can put in information, try to get that cause. And we just see so many patients that get diagnosed with high blood pressure because exactly what happened to you, right? You show up in the emergency room, your blood pressure's through the roof. There's no history they can pull from. So they say, high blood pressure is probably the cause. And, we're learning more and more. There just needs more work to be done to help really guarantee that's really where the problem is.
Definitely. Because I looked at it as maybe since I did the genetic testing, I said maybe this is something that I couldn't have prevented. I could have prolonged it, but at some point in my life, it was going to happen. So fortunately for me, it happened when I was younger and fit. So my body could fight it a lot better than if I'm 70 or 80. So I'm very thankful that it did happen at the time it did.
Yeah. And then how long were you on dialysis?
So my whole journey actually from diagnosis to starting dialysis to transplant was a year.
Okay.
So there's still people that at the clinic that are still there that I go and I pop in and say hi. So I'm very fortunate that my whole journey only took a year from start to finish to transplant. Yes.
So fortunate.
Yes.
Can you tell us about your transplant experience? How did you find a donor and just talk us through what that was like?
I got my transplant out here at UPMC. So they did a very good job. When I got on the registry, I had a link. So I would just share my link on social media, just let anybody know. But fortunately, my sister was a match. So my sister actually donated her kidney to me, which is a very interesting story because me and my sister are both adopted. So we have completely different biological parents, but yeah, we were a match. So
it's amazing.
That worked out well. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That is really amazing. Did she just kind of jump forward? There's some folks that we've talked to that are just afraid of asking anyone, even their family, out of feeling like being, put upon them to do that. Did you have to ask, or did she kind of just jump right at it?
Well, I didn't ask anybody actually, any family. I just shared a link. I didn't even talk to my sister. I didn't even know she did it until, I got the call and my sister told me. So I didn't know because they only test one person at a time.
Right.
So she probably was one of the first, or probably the first one. So did all the tests and everything worked. But yeah.
So what advice do you have for someone that to have the courage to put that link out like that? What do you think? What advice do you have for someone who's doing that?
You have to step out of your comfort zone. And, when you're talking about your health and maybe a relative, a friend, or a stranger could help you, there's no shame in asking. I drive around here, I see billboards and everything. So people need these items. So it doesn't hurt to ask. You never know.
When you found out that your sister would be your donor, did she call you or did you get a call? How did that happen?
Well, I got the transplant. I think I got an email actually. I got an email from them that, and then more testing and everything.
Yeah.
Then my sister did tell me, and very thankful, but at the same time, kind of upset because I didn't want her to donate. I'm the big brother, so I'm supposed to take care of you. But just calm my ego a little bit and just was very thankful for her stepping up to the plate. So
yeah, we talked to a lot of people who share a similar sentiment that they don't want a family member to donate to them, that they have concerns about it and they feel protective of their family member and don't. But I think one of the educational messages that we try to get out there is the safety of being a living donor and that you can live a long, totally normal life with one kidney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And my surgeon wouldn't even do the transplant unless it was a living donor. So, thankful for that. The other challenge too, with a donor, and it's my sister, was the medical team. They're like, "Oh, that's great. It's your sister. It's your sister." And I kept trying to tell them, I said, "Talk to me like it's a stranger giving me their kidney. I need to hear that information rather than, oh, the chances of this and that are so much better just because, it's blood related." So that was a little bit of a struggle because they couldn't really understand that much.
Sure. Earlier, Alex, you talked about the genetic testing you had done and the variants. And, I had mentioned earlier that you've been very, very helpful in helping us promote AMKD Awareness Day. And for our listeners that aren't familiar with that or hearing it for the first time, that's APOL1 mediated kidney disease. It is with two gene variants, for those of African ancestry, can make you predisposed for kind of, there's a doctor that we work with that says it's like, instead of like a steam engine, it's like a bullet train to kidney failure when you have it. You've been so helpful in helping promote that to your community and your followers. Why did you feel like that was important to do? And have you gotten any feedback from your followers that have seen some of your messages?
Feedback, I've gotten a lot of feedback, which is good. It's helping a lot of people, but at the same time, I'm not educated enough to answer a lot of their questions. I just don't have the information. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a surgeon. So I always point them to the AMKD and all those things. But I felt as humans, if we have information that could help somebody, or like I said, if you have the gene, I can just maybe prolong it. So you could change your diet, do little things, is to why not to share it. And for me, I lived through it. I'm still living through it. So, it's just my duty to try to help other people out before it starts, or through it while it starts.
Well, I think what you're doing is fantastic in terms of raising awareness for people and giving people support while you're going through it yourself. At AKF, we are continuously encouraging people to know your kidneys. There's millions of people at risk for kidney disease, and 9 out of 10 people with kidney disease don't know they have it. So we're working to educate people about prevention and management and early detection. And so I guess I'm wondering, what would you say to someone who maybe thinks they don't need to worry about kidney disease, or anything you'd like to say about the need for just more awareness in general?
There 100% needs to be more awareness in general, especially with kidneys, just in health in general. When we're younger, we just think we're invincible. We break something, we do that. But as you get older, you realize there's things that are working in your body that we haven't been thinking about our entire life. So just to be aware, I would definitely recommend getting blood work done, just to check your levels, even once a year, just to try to stay on top of it and just be proactive about the situation.
Yeah. Do you know if, like when you were going to your physicals, was that blood work happening and urine testing happening?
Yes. Post transplant or pre?
Like before you crashed into kidney failure?
I believe I was getting blood once a week. I was getting my labs done. Post, I was getting it 3 times a week, down to 2, down to 1, and every other. So now, luckily, I'm once a month. I get my labs done. So
Yeah. And then thinking back to before you even knew you had a kidney issue, when you went to the doctor, do you remember them talking to you about kidneys, or testing your kidney health as part of your routine physical?
I couldn't even tell you the last time before I got diagnosed I actually got labs done. So, like I said, if I would have, it would have helped. I could have changed some things, and like I said, prolonged it. That's all. But now you're aware. You can get more information rather than I have a year to crunch all this information and make decisions. So now maybe you have 5 years. So you already know the right questions to ask, what to look for. You're joining these groups. You're going to seminars. So you just have more material to help you through the process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for those that might be listening, if you don't have kidney disease, or if you have someone in your family that you care about that has not been diagnosed with kidney disease, I mean, it's so important to tell them to get tested for blood and urine, EGFR and UACR for their kidneys. And when you have that data, we certainly have tools on our website for Know Your Kidneys that you can go and kind of plug that in. Alex, I'm wondering, I'm thinking, you talked a lot about the physical effects of this, but what about like the mental and emotional of being like someone in such excellent shape? I mean, and you're still in excellent shape. I've seen your Instagram posts. You're still in excellent shape. So, how did you deal with that mental impact of that?
For me, actually, mentally, it wasn't really a challenge. I've had surgeries before, my knee surgery, shoulder surgery, but at the time I was playing football. So mentally, I'm just like, let's get cut open. Let's get ready, rehab, go, 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 go. So that's the mentality I had going in after transplant and through everything. But it was completely different because it wasn't something that, 6 months, you'll be ready. So it's still struggling for me, honestly. Right now, I'm just happy to be able to work out. I'm nowhere close to working out the way I want to, but I listen to my body now. Sometimes I'm just exhausted. So that's changed and kind of frustrating me because I want to do X amount of weight, but I can only do this amount of weight. So the biggest thing I've been trying to work on is, for me, working out is to look at it as physical therapy, as we just have to start from zero and slowly progress as we can, as your body feels day to day, because that's still up and down just with all the medication still.
What advice do you have for someone that might be listening to this? As Tamara said, I'm sure we have someone that's on dialysis right now hearing this that is at zero right now. Like, what's the first thing they should start to do to try to get, kind of back into an exercise routine?
The first thing is to walk and move, to be honest with you, because you're getting the blood flow. And, when you're on dialysis, you could have a lot of swelling. So just to keep that circulation going and to not beat yourself up. Like I said, just look at it as physical therapy. Something happened. We're here now to fix it and get back and hopefully better. So just take the ego out. You used to do these things, just baby steps, to be honest with you. And the hardest thing for me was listening to my body.
Mm-hmm.
Just some days you just can't, and that's okay. It's not an excuse. You're going through something that life-changing, very traumatic. So it's okay to take a day off, 2 weeks off, a week off. It's okay. The biggest thing is making sure your health is there and ready so you can do the things you love to do.
Absolutely.
And also, I wanted to piggyback when we were talking about just getting tested and the labs done. So if I would have done labs previously, I could have helped a lot, because when I first got my first lab test done, my creatinine was the 15.2.
Oh my God.
So if anyone knows those numbers, it gradually got to a 15.2. So if I would have got testing done even once a year, they'd be like, oh, it's a little elevated. Well, we might need to change some things. So I just wanted to piggyback on that previously, though.
I appreciate you saying that.
I just look back to when I was in my 20s. I didn't even go to the doctor. I don't think I even had health insurance for years. You don't even think about it when you're young and healthy.
You don't at all. Yeah. It's little stuff. You can put a Band-Aid on, put a cast on, but as we get older, we find out that it's a lot of internal things that some are in our cards or some we cause that we're just not aware of.
Yeah. And I know, speaking as a guy, a lot of times I think we also kind of just dismiss some things or even as 100%. You said, right? It's probably just kidney stones, even though there's something going on, it's probably just kidney stones. And, with kidney disease being such a silent disease until as you experienced it, I think it's about 40% of patients, 4 out of 10 people happen to them exactly what happened to you. And the only way to really do it is the test. I just want to reiterate that again is, if you're listening to this and you have a family member, just go to your doctor and ask, how are my kidneys, doc? Like, can you check them for me? And make sure that they're doing not just a blood test, which a lot of people do get as kind of part of the typical blood panel, but that creatinine, which feeds into a number called eGFR, it is still not only going to find someone that's in like stage 3 or later, and you really need that urine test too to look for protein in your urine. So anyone out there listening, that is not in this situation yet, or have someone that you care about that isn't, please encourage them to go have those tests.
And to ask, for those extra tests, the needle's already in you, so you're already getting labs done. So it's just maybe an extra tube, and it's, but it could help you a lot in the long run.
Absolutely. Well, Alex, anything else you would like to share with our listeners before we wrap up?
Yeah. Well, probably to everybody that's on dialysis now, just to keep fighting, keep positive mindset. Hopefully you have a good support team. And to anyone listening that maybe knows someone that's going through dialysis, kidneys, thinking about it, is to not think about it. Like I said, go get the test done just to check your levels regularly. Hopefully everything works out for everybody. And just like I said, stay positive, and there's always tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Alex.
I appreciate it.
We're going to drop your social links in the show notes, but just in case someone's listening only, where can they find you?
Okay. So all my socials are Average Black Man, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Well, Mike, we had a great conversation with Alex Simmons. To me, he really touched on the importance of awareness, resilience, and the power of community. And to me, his story drove home how kidney disease can strike when you least expect it and how important it is to listen to your body and get regular checkups.
Agreed. And I think it also really emphasizes how it can happen to anyone. I mean, he is extremely fit. He runs a gym, for goodness sake. So, I mean, really, this can happen to anyone. And it's why it's so important that basic kidney health that we really, try to drive home with everyone about getting tested for kidney disease, asking your doctor questions, no matter your age or kind of physical health that you're in right now is so important.
Yeah, and I think I really appreciated how he talked about that, and really dispelling that myth that kidney disease only happens to certain people. It really can happen to anyone. And I think one of the things we're trying to do with this podcast is dispel that myth and make it clear to people that kidney disease is not selective, right? It can happen to you. And I think his story really drives that home. I think another thing about Alex's story that I really appreciated him doing was opening up about the mental toll of dialysis and how really trying to stay positive and leaning on his support system helped him push through.
Yeah, and his willingness just to be open, period. I mean, the amount of things that he does on social media with Instagram and otherwise, just being vulnerable and talking about all the things that he's going through and really trying to inspire others was inspiring to me. So really was a great conversation.
Yeah, and I loved how he also talked about kidney health isn't just about survival, right? It's about thriving with the right mindset and community. And I appreciated him sort of talking about how he went about developing that community and connecting with people. I think that was a great message.
Absolutely. I mean, that positive mindset has really helped him move forward. And I'm hoping that his story will help others that are listening to this move forward too.
Me too. So I hope our listeners enjoyed this as much as we did, and looking forward to the next episode. To find out more about the topics we discussed in this episode, or to access resources to learn more about kidney disease, go to the episode show notes on your podcast listening platform or go to kidneyfund.org/podcast. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe or follow the Kidney Collective wherever you listen to podcasts, and leave us a like or review to help us reach more members of the kidney community.
You can also follow AKF on all major social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or whatever comes next. Join us next time. Remember that even in the toughest moments, there's hope ahead, and the Kidney Collective and AKF are here for you now.